It's living nightmare. We will be sharing a bunch of interesting true living nightmares. What's up, fellow crime solvers? I'm Leidin, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day because in this week's episode of Living Nightmare, I will be telling you a case from the point of view of the person who has had the experience of an unwelcome guest. Let's get right into it. I am a mother and I have just recently moved in with my daughter and my husband in a suburban area in Jakarta. Over the course of our stay in our house, which was for about 2 weeks, we would often wake up finding tiny bits of dry dirt on the top of our beds. I brushed it off easily, thinking that maybe we had forgotten to wash our feet before sleeping and didn't realize the dirt stuck to our feet. However, this disturbing occurrence kept happening for a week that we stopped dismissing it as a mere coincidence. Dirt would follow us to the foot of our bed, and it would make an outline of our feet. The dry material would never affect us in our sleep, so that we never realized it until we woke up with brown stains near our feet. I asked my husband and daughters if they did it, and I would easily know if they lied or not. They didn't lie. They said that they too were really baffled at the scene before them every time they woke up. Frustrated and curious, I took action and decided to buy myself a wireless spy camera that will be then recorded on my phone. I secretly attached the camera onto the top shelf of my daughter's bedroom, where it was hidden between two books. Lo and behold, the door opened and a figure crept into the room. The intruder kept its head down and over a black hoodie. The person stopped at my daughter's bedside, looming over her, staring at her for what felt like an hour, when he then took out a handful of dirt and began sprinkling it over my daughter's feet. I was in shock and I was so terrified that I quickly downloaded the camera footage and filed a police report. An investigation happened where there were no signs of forced entry, and so the police had gone deep into searching every crevice in my house. To no luck, there was no one or nothing to be found. The police simply dismissed it, suggesting we stay awake at night and bring in our residence's security guard just in case, as we watched the live video of my daughter's room. The intruder never came, but we persevered in doing this for 1 week, waiting all night for the intruder to come. Eventually, we stopped, but these multiple break-ins would always occur in the dead of night. There were no things stolen, no harm done to anyone in my family. But the most horrific thing was that there were no signs of forced entry. Every night, the intruder would stand beside the bed of my daughter and stare at her peaceful body for an hour. The intruder would leave dirt on the outlines of her feet, just to let us know that they were 1 meter away watching us while we slept. I grew tired of this. I grew sick of it. And so we had to move out of the house right after it still kept happening. This case has got to be one of the most disturbing cases I have read. I definitely won't be able to sleep tonight because of how creepy and disturbing this case is. Right off the bat, I can already tell how there are a lot of Indonesian aspects to it, like how they would wash their feet before sleeping, how poor the Indonesian police were at handling the investigation, since a case with camera footage evidence is so easily dismissed, and how there were residents as security guards. Now then, I can already see a lot of off things happening, so let's state one of them. Why didn't the mother ask the daughter to lock the door for the next night? Was uncovering the intruder was more prioritized than her own daughter's safety? And another thing I would like to state is that this family is dealing with a really professional intruder. We can see this from the fact that there were no signs of forced entry, which may mean that they were living in the house, and made the police search everywhere, but there was no one to be found hiding in the house, which means that the intruder was out of the house and went in during the night. And this brings me to something I would like to bring up, which is why didn't they thought of buying more wireless cameras or CCTVs within and outside of the house? The idea that a family living in Jakarta and that they are able to move out of their house so easily to a new house must mean that they are well off enough to buy more than one wireless camera to prioritize the safety of their family. If the intruder is a professional, then the mother should have pushed the investigation further with the police by staying up at night and have the police stay up as well, hidden in the mother's daughter's room, and come out to catch the intruder when the intruder is walking towards the bed. The mother would be invigilating the scene with the camera footage in another room with the residence's security guard and her husband. If this does not work, if I were the mother, I would hire a private investigator from the Criminal Investigation Agency in Indonesia, which is known as Badan Reserse Kriminal, instead of just moving out of the house. The professionals who I have hired must know that they are dealing with a professional intruder, and that these investigators must know that the motives of the intruder so that we know what direction the intruder is heading towards and that we will be one step further ahead of the intruder. My second point is that the intruder is living in the house, and there would be two possible things for this. One, the person is hiding in a place where the police can't find him, which would mean inside the actual structure of the house. Like, for example, inside the underground or basement of the house, or the roof or attic of it, or within the walls of the house. Or two, the person is someone else living with them, and these family members have no idea that they're living with someone else. Can you imagine how creepy that is? I for one, would be really, really creeped out. Or the family members lied and pretended not to know that the intruder has been doing this. What was even scarier was that the intruder's motives aren't known when they would just stand and stare at the daughter. And the question is, why would they want to prove to the family that they can do something to them whenever they sleep? And if the intruder never came when the mother, father, and security guard stayed up all night to watch the camera footage, it would have meant that this actual intruder knows that they are being watched, which would also mean that the intruder must have heard the police's suggestions. From this, I can conclude that we are dealing with either a professional or someone within the house. But what do you guys think? Is this creepy dude someone professional, or someone someone close to them with a grudge and are going to plot a revenge, or someone in the house who is a family member, or someone who is secretly living in the house? This case remains to be a living nightmare.